Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang met with President Donald Trump at the White House just days before a planned trip to China for the chip designer's chief executive. For more on the latest from Nvidia, the only member of the $4 trillion market cap club. Let's welcome in now. Got Dan Ives, Wedbush Securities Managing Director, Global Head of Technology Research. Dan, it is good to see you, my friend. I love the look today, Dan. It does look like, you know what it looks like, Dan? It looks like I'm interrupting your tea time. So I'm gonna get through this interview. We're gonna get through it real fast. I feel like you got places to go. Let's start with Nvidia, Dan. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, he's on the way to China. We know there, Dan, he can't sell his latest and greatest chips, right? And it's costing his company a lot of money. I'm curious how you think this all plays out. Does he get Trump to reverse course? Does he find a workaround? What do you see ahead?
I mean, he's not going to the White House just to have lemonade with Trump. I mean, the point is, our view is that the restrictions when it comes to China, a lot of that ultimately will at some extent be lifted where Nvidia can sell their chips into China. Remember, I mean, they're not going to just give $8 billion a quarter to Huawei on a silver platter. And it's all part of this negotiation that you see. But there's only one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution, and it's led by the godfather of AI, Jensen Nvidia.
If he can't sell his latest and greatest in China, Dan, how does he make that up? Could demand from the sovereigns, the Saudis, the UAE, could that make it up?
Look, that can make it up. And I still think Street's underestimating growth by 20, 30% in the next few years. But you do not want to give China just away to Huawei. I mean, where Nvidia can't touch it. And they know, and Jensen knows, that continues to be the biggest market incrementally that they're going after besides the US. And it's all part of this negotiation. You cannot just hand that business to Huawei. And that's why, look, it's all part of this high stakes negotiation. But there's only one chip in the world that's fueling it. And Trump knows a big poker chip that he has in negotiations is Nvidia.
I'm sure there are some viewers, Dan, this week, when they saw Nvidia hit that milestone, right? They might have thought, hey, I missed my chance, I missed my opportunity. I know you feel differently. What are the catalysts that keep this one, in your opinion, moving higher?
I think 5 trillion and beyond are next, because it's my view, we're in a golden age for tech. It's led by Nvidia, but it's speaking to the AI revolution. I mean, behind the velvet ropes, they're gonna let Microsoft into the $4 trillion market cap club as well. When it comes to Nvidia, this is still just the beginning of a 3-year tech bull market, and it's being led by Jensen.
Let's switch gears to another name I know you like, Dan, and that would be Tesla. You like the name. You don't seem happy with Elon Musk and how he's spending his time. He's right back into politics, right? Full speed ahead. He's going to create this American political party, this new political party. You laid out changes you want from the Tesla board, Dan. You say new pay package for Musk to 25% voting control, guardrails for the amount of time Musk spends at Tesla, and oversight in political endeavors. Does any of that actually happen, Dan? What odds would you give it?
Yeah, and obviously Musk didn't like, what we laid out. I believe the odds of that happening are ultimately just some combination more than 50% in terms of that. And especially when it comes to 25% voting right, what I view as an XAI merger, to me, that is ultimately sort of the next stage to where we see this all heading.
I have to ask you, Dan, only because we're showing the post there. When you lay this out, Elon Musk says, shut up, Dan. So the owner of X, on X, guy's worth $400 billion. He tells you to shut up. You saw that, Dan? What did you think and feel when you saw it?
Look, I mean, I knew Elon and knowing, for 20 years and him and following Tesla and being such a big support, he wasn't going to like it. But again, friends could disagree, right? And so hopefully, over the coming months, we're able to work out our differences. But as one of the biggest supporters of Tesla, we needed to do that. Given our view, that's what the board needs to do to ultimately move this forward. Tesla's going into its biggest stage of growth ever in autonomous and robotics. Musk needs Tesla, and ultimately the biggest asset continues to be Elon.
So you had your criticism there, Dan. It's important to note you remain bullish. You tell your clients here at Wedbush, they ask you what to do with it. You say, listen, this one's an outperform. It's still a buy. What would you need to see, Dan? What would have to happen for you to rethink that rating?
Look, I mean, to me, it just continues to sort of be, this is going to be one of the biggest winners in AI along with Nvidia. So for me to get bearish, I don't see it relative to everything we see in front of us when it comes to autonomous.
Finally, Dan, another ticker. I got to get this one in. Let's talk Apple. Another name you like, right? The team at Lightshed made some news this week with a provocative report. I know you saw this, where they were asking, is it time for a new CEO at Apple? You know that company well. You know the CEO well. What's your response to that question?
Cook continues to be the Hall of Fame CEO. He will lead Apple, I believe, at least the next 5 years. That said, AI revolution can pass Apple by. I believe the time's come for them to make an acquisition in terms of Perplexity. And I think that's different. It's Cook reading the room on this next chapter. Because look, you miss AI, that would taint a big part of his legacy if you miss the AI revolution.
It would be a hard shift to do an acquisition like that, Dan. I mean, you know, Apple does do, you know, acquisitions, but traditionally they stay small. I think the biggest one they ever did was Beats for $3 billion. What kind of odds would you give that they would make a move? Perplexity, I think, valued at around $14 billion, I believe.
I believe they don't have a choice. They have to do a deal. I get the DNA of Cupertino. We could build it better than them. But it comes down to, it's like a baseball player in a slump. You got to change your bat, right? Mantle, Cobb, Garrett. You know, you go back, Babe. They change their bat. Cook, it's time to change. Need to do Perplexity, in my opinion.
Finally, Palantir, Messi of AI, as you put it, Dan. You raised your target. You go to 160. You're doing your checks, and obviously you like what you see. What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
The AI revolution is being led by Nvidia and Microsoft, but Palantir, they're going to be one of the core players. I think it's $1 trillion company in the next 2 to 3 years. And look, the haters will hate, but it's just the beginning of the use cases playing out on enterprise, on government. That's being led by CARP, and that's why, you know, there's only one Messi of AI, and it's PLTR.
What do you say to the skeptics, Dan, the bears, who will say, listen, and they've been on this show, and I've asked them, they'll say, listen, I like the tech, they'll tell me. I like the fundamentals. I don't like the valuation. It's an irrational valuation is how they'll put it. They'll say that these levels, the risk reward does not look attractive. What's your response?
The bears are in hibernation mode, and in their spreadsheets, they can see AI. And if you focus just on valuation, you missed every transformational growth stock the last 20 years. And Palantir, they hated 15, despised it 50, yelling at 100. It's going to continue. Again, it's like, right now, this is being what I view as one of the best AI plays in the world.
I know you tell your clients to say this one on the path, you argue, to become the next Oracle.
It's the next Oracle, the $1 trillion path. They're in a left lane, a Ferrari going 100 miles an hour. A lot of the competition's in a minivan going 45 miles an hour right lane.
Dan, always good to see you. Always good to have you on the show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.